Flight delays are growing as the government shutdown stretches to 5 weeks. An airline industry group says more than 3 million U.S. passengers have been affected. Joining us now is Oscar Munoz, former United Airlines CEO and chairman, and a CNBC contributor. It's good to see you, Oscar. I guess you can just give us your thoughts on the whole process, and then we'll get to specifics in terms of. I mean,
thanks,
how many flights do you need to cut back on to have the same level of safety that we have when the government's open? I don't know how you get to that point, that exact point.
I think it's a calculation that's complicated, for lack of a better term. No one's ever going to compromise safety, and so that's going to happen. I mean, my general feelings on the subject is the situation is getting worse. I was on here a few weeks ago, and it was still very positive, praising the people that were coming to work without paychecks, but that's wearing thin on folks. And I'm at a conference down here in New Orleans, and took an informal poll of folks, both private and commercial airlines, and to the person, everyone was experiencing delays. And so what happens now is the big critical issue. And you had Secretary Duffy yesterday, obviously stating one point of view. It is concerning. I'm usually a much more positive person, but this one is tricky because there are two sides to this equation, Joe. I didn't get quite to that yesterday with him. But the other side is just not being asinine or recalcitrant. There's points of debate that this nation has to have, and I speak from a business perspective. I have solved successfully very contentious labor agreements over the course of my life, and the special skill is the bridge of understanding both sides of the equation. And we certainly have, on one side, the flight delays and an inconvenience for sure, but you potentially have on the other side, families that don't know if they can afford insulin next month. So there's a really strong view on both parts, whether you agree with one or the other. It's a complicated debate that requires both sides to come to the table with some thoughtfulness, and I do not see that. And unfortunately, the after effect will be on us in travel. And I don't see anything in the near future with the way both sides are reacting and working through this.
Funding the government through a continuing resolution has nothing to do with whether a family can afford insulin next month.
Well, Joe, you're right. I mean, again, we're going to get into this debate of, it's not about who's winning this debate. It's about who's losing because of it.
I'm just talking about how we reopen the government. And you need 5 Democrat votes to reopen the government with the bill that's sitting on the Senate's desk.
But again, just taking both sides of the equation just for conversation.
I don't even know what that means. But so in terms of just back to the airline issue, is there anything short of reopening the government that can ensure that the TSA guys are there, that can ensure that the air traffic controllers are there? Do you expect them to continue to come in without a paycheck?
I think the professionals, and I think a good portion of them, will make that effort. But, human dynamics are at play here for sure. And at some point in time, you're already seeing the people calling out. There's potential for private folks to do some work at the airports, but air traffic controllers cannot be replaced. So no, we're going to have to somehow fund that mechanism to work through that, and that is going to require. Yes,
we're at day 35 of the shutdown. It's tied for the longest shutdown ever. Is there a point where things are broken? You can't just flip a switch and turn things back on. Are there air traffic controllers who either retire or find employment elsewhere, say, forget it, this is enough, and you have a system that is broken beyond repair at that point?
One of the things that we've learned about the aviation industry, and it's a great question, is we can flex. And so I do not see an immediate risk to what you just said in the course of this month or so. A month from now, 2 months from now, people begin to make life decisions about feeding their families, and you could see that. We can reverse that to some degree, but again, we're not there at this point in time because we will, unfortunately, begin to reduce air travel for folks, which will be highly inconvenient for sure.